Hello there, and welcome to Rajiv Gandhi IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. And today, this is Naresh Nihal, and I'll be analyzing news for 3rd January 2022. So, moving on with the first news, and the first news is about the EWS quota, economical weaker section quota, and it is said that rupees 8 lakh income is reasonable. The government or the center has told the Supreme Court that the income is a feasible criteria for defining the economical weaker section in society, and the annual family income of rupees 8 lakh is a reasonable threshold to determine economical weaker section in order to extend reservation in this kind of admissions and jobs. And secondly, in case of OBC creamy layer, this is also 8 lakh, but in that income from salaries, agriculture and traditional professions, like there are different artisanal professions are excluded from this consideration, where 8 lakh criteria for economical weaker section include all these kind of jobs or different kind of profiles. So these kind of things are there. So government is saying that this EWS quota is not similar to those OBC quota, as first that different jobs are included in EWS and this is excluded in OBC, and also that EWS criteria relates the financial year prior to the year of application. Suppose for 2022 I am filling up a form, so it will take only 2021 in case of EWS quota, but in case of OBC quota that will take up to like previous 3 years. So from 2019 it will take our my account of salary or whatever the position I have. And also this report is the result of Supreme Court's repeated grilling of government, because since October Supreme Court was telling government to decide this, why only 8 lakh has been chosen. So on the, because this Supreme Court has a petition was filed in Supreme Court by NEET, National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test aspirant, that 10% reservation is given on EWS quota. So 8 lakh, why 8 lakh is selected. So in Supreme Court was also asking government from many times that why this is selected. So in response to that, center tells that it's a reasonable cap. So moving on to this panel's prescription, what it said that the annual limit of 8 lakh is may be retained, and EWS may exclude irrespective income of a person whose family has a agricultural land. So if you are a agricultural land, that may be excluded, and the residential asset criteria may be removed. So this can be removed, and this agricultural land could also remove, and sudden adoption of new criteria in the committee report would delay a cascading effect. Cascading effect means one thing will due to one thing another thing will happen. So cascading effect on admissions exams will happen, because suppose for 2022 admission is not happening, so 2023 season will be late. So like kind of that kind of thing will happen in academic. So we will now go in a detail about this EWS quota. So the 10% EWS quota was introduced in 103rd Amendment Bill or Amendment Act, and it was Article 15 and Article 16. Both are fundamental rights and are very crucial when equality is concerned. So 15.6 and 16.6 both were amended for this article for this quota. So this became a quite of important quota, and also it is for economic reservation in job, in admission and in educational institute for economical weaker section, that is EWS. So only economical weaker section, regardless of your religion or your caste, this economical weaker section applied, and it was enacted to promote the welfare of poor which are not covered in 50% reservation policy for SC, STs, and like there is SEBC, that is socially and educationally backward class. So those poor which are not covered under this 50% of this kind of reservation will be covered under EWS quota, and it enables both center and state to provide EWS quota. Both center and state have to provide the quota. So these are the basic things about this quota. So what are the significances, different significances? So first significances is that it address inequality, because the 10% quota is kind of progressive, they are saying. It's progressive in nature, because and it could address the issue of educational and income inequality in India, since the economical weaker section of citizen have remained excluded from attending higher educational institute and public employment due to their financial incapacity. So suppose if a Dalit student is there and his economical condition is same as the upper class student, but still that upper class student is not having those kind of benefits of reservation. So this kind of thing will address inequality, and also this will provide recognition for the economic backward, as we all know that there are many people or classes other than the backward classes like SC, OBC, ST, who are living under hunger and poverty striking conditions. So this will definitely recognize those people. And also the proposed reservation through a constitutional amendment would give constitutional recognition to poor from upper caste also. So this will be a good thing for the poor of the upper caste also. And also this will kind of minimize the caste based discrimination, because moreover it will gradually remove the stigma associated with the reservation, because reservation has historically been related with caste, and most often the upper caste look down upon the lower caste, because they say that these people are in jobs, or many kind of derogatory remarks are there, that they say because of reservation. So now reservation is also there in the upper caste, so this kind of minimize the reduction of caste based discrimination. So what are the different concerns with this kind of amendment? So the first concern is this: there is this unavailability of data, because the statement of object and reason in the EWS bill clearly mentioned that the economical weaker section of citizens have largely remained excluded, and they are not attended higher educational institute and public employment on account of financial incapacity. So this is a just a wild guess. So no data is there for this kind of thing. So with without any data, how a bill can be passed, that is still a kind of controversy. So but we do not have to go on to this controversy part, we just have to say that there is this unavailability of data is there. And also there is this it breaches the reservation cap, because we all know in the famous Indira Sahani, this is a landmark judgment, and whenever reservation is concerned, Indira Sahani case is of 1992, with a 9 judge constitutional bench was there, and if this put a cap of 50% of reservation, means whatever the reservation the center or the state are providing, it cannot exceed the 50% quota. So the EWS quota breaches this limit, and without even putting the issue into consideration. So this issue was not put into consideration. So again there is this we all know that there's this Maratha issue was there, that people from Maharashtra should be given some priority in reservation. So also in that case Indira Sahni judgment was quoted down. So this kind of judgment are very useful when it comes to UPSC preparation. And also the one of the concern is that they are saying that this is a arbitrary criteria, because the criteria used by government to decide the eligibility of the reservation is vague, because it is not based on any data on or any study. And even the SC question, means Supreme Court questioned the government whether they have checked the GDP per capita of every state while deciding the monetary limit for giving the reservation, or even that the statistic shows that the per capita income in states vary differently. For different state the per capita is different. So for example, Goa is the state having the highest per capita of about 4 lakh. Bihar is a state of about per capita of about 40,000 rupees. So how these kind of things will be managed in this bill, it's still unclear. So these kind of concerns are there with this bill. So moving on with the next news. So the next news about census, and the census first phase and the NPR data is deferred till September. And the first phase of census and the collection of details to update the national population register. This is NPR, that is National Population national population register have been postponed till September, and the Registrar General of India, the authority which took control of the NPR and the whole census process, had in December informed the state that the freezing of boundary of district or sub-district or tehsil or talukas and police station should be postponed till June 2022. So why this freezing is done? Why this freezing is done, that is a question. Because what happened, that freezing of boundary limits administrative unit. At least this have to be done at least 3 months prior to the to census or to any exercise which determines the population, and this is a kind of prerequisite for conducting this census. And census was this whole data collection, and this census and NPR was about scheduled in between April and September 2020, but due to this pandemic, we all know, this has been extended till with this September 2021 2022. So now we will go into the census. So what is this census actually? So basic definition is that it is the process of collecting, compiling and analyzing and disseminating demographic demographic economic and social data. See, these kind of definition became important because whenever we are preparing for UPSC, suppose this kind of questions are asked in mains, so we can start our introduction part with this kind of definition. And also this census provide a kind of trends in the population or characteristic, and the nodal ministry, so this kind of nodal ministry becomes important when it comes to prelims. This the nodal ministry is office of registrar general of census, that is RGC, registrar general, and census commission is there, and this come directly under the Ministry of Home Affairs. And until 1951 this was done on a ad hoc basis. Until 1951 this was done on ad hoc basis, but after that, when we got our constitution, Ministry of Home Affairs take control of this whole census thing. And also census is conducted under this what we can say, that provision, there is this census act is there. So census act of 1948 is there, and the bill for this acts were plotted by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and he was then the home minister. And the population census is a union subject, so we have to know this is not a state subject, this is a union subject. And under article 246, because we know under article 246 different subjects are divided, so under article 246 this is a union subject. And there are different confidentiality within the census itself, and the information collected during the population census is so confidential that is it is not even accessible to the courts of law. Suppose we are going to court that we want census of this of the running census, so it cannot give us the census until it is made public. So this kind of things are confidential. So moving on with the news, what is the significance of the census? So first significance, we all know it acts as a source of information, and the Indian census is the largest single source of variety of statistical information, largest source. And researchers and demographer use census data to analyze growth and trends and population of different kind of projection. So growth analysis can be done through this census data, and also it is very useful for good governance, because the data collected through the census is used for administration, planning, policy making, as well as management and evaluation of various programs by the government. And also it helps in demarcation, because census data is used for demarcation of constituency and allocation of representation to parliament. According to the population, we can describe which kind of population is living, so we can demarcate accordingly. And this also give access to business, better access to business, because the census data is give in when industry and different business houses take this, they use it for strengthening and planning their business for penetration into area. Okay. And they also help in given grants, and finance commission provide grant to the state on the basis of population figures. We all know that in finance commission, which is the main body which defines how the money should be evolved between center and states. So a population also plays a vital role towards finance commission, that how the center schemes should be given to states. So what are the history of census? Because see, whenever we are writing an answer, we have to know the history, and we have to know certain introductory part of it also. So it census is mentioned in Rig Veda, and it is, we all know, ancient literature, earliest literature of of Indus Valley, after the Indus Valley, so sorry. And it was maintained around like 800 to 600 BC. So it was mentioned in Rig Veda, and also in Arthashastra by Kautilya. So in Arthashastra also this census thing is mentioned. And we all know Aine Akbari, the famous book of like kind of biography of Akbar. So in Aine Akbari, census is also mentioned. And also there are many pre-independence period attempts to mention to have this census, because basically the history of census began in 1800, when England began its census, and in continuation a census was conducted in Allahabad. In Allahabad, a census was conducted in around 1824, and in Banaras in around 1827-28. And James Prinsep was the architect of this kind of thing. And also it was conducted in 1872 during Lord Mayo. And different kind of, like we all know that first synchronous census was happening in like British rule in 1881. Then after that, this became a continuous habit, like after each 10 years, after 1881 we are having a census. So one census was about to release in 2021, but due to pandemic it's now shifted to 2022 it will be done. And hopefully towards 2022 it will be done, and it will be released in 2023, if the pandemic is not increasing. So this is kind of whole theory about census and how it is useful. So moving on to the next news.